Hello and welcome to the Musical Instrument Investigator. Today we're on the website of Hutchinson Scott Auctioneers based in the UK, and we're going to have a look at their latest musical instrument auction. This one quite an interesting one. This is the Doreen and Michael Muscat Lifetime Collection of Instruments. Michael and Doreen Muscat, the early music duo, so we can expect some early musical instruments in this auction. Before we get started, I'd just like to say if you do enjoy these videos, please consider subscribing because it really does help. Also feel free to like or comment or send an email, that's also helpful as well. So without further ado, we'll kind of get on with it. So yeah, Doreen and Michael Muscat, they seemingly, according to the blurb, went round kind of different countries collecting instruments and kind of working with their own kind of passion for hurdy-gurdy and things like that, and yeah, they got lots of instruments and now they're being sold. This auction is happening on the 10th of March. It is the 6th today, so a few days to go. 30% is the buyer's premium, that's what you pay on top of the hammer price. As I always say, this is a UK based auction, so if you are outside of the UK, if you're in Europe or somewhere else in the world, bear in mind kind of shipping fees and any kind of CITES restrictions and all of that kind of fun stuff. So it looks like there's 153 lots in this sale, so a fair amount but not too crazy. So let's just really briefly go over and see what we have. Vintage handmade Ferulio, which I think is like a Yugoslavian instrument. 20th century flute pipe by John Cousin. Moore & Co resin transvert flute and tin whistle style pipe. 2 Peruvian horns, interesting. An 18th century French musette de cour. Okay, interesting. These are quite interesting, these instruments. I think there are definitely collectors for this. 18th century musette de cour. Ebony drone with 5 ivory shuttles. Turned ivory chanter with 6 silver keys. An auxiliary chanter of flat shape with 8 silver keys. The leather bellows with wooden floor embroidered silk covered and plates, inflating a matching bag with silver thread. Interesting. Former collection of Nicholas McGagan, given to Michael Muscat around 1980, 3 to 5,000. Yeah, I think these are quite rare, from what I have been told. So it's interesting to see one of these in auction. But let us carry on. Von Hohen E. Turton soprano recorder. West African tribal kora lute. Collection of 19th 20th century rosewood flutes. A late 20th century Greek bamboo flute. A good quality portative organ, that's pretty cool, by P.D. Collins. We definitely don't see these very often. These are pretty cool. I'm actually quite a fan of portative organs. So that's pretty cool to see. I like the way that they put like a kind of bottle of wine or something there, just to show the size of it. So that's interesting. Set of Flemish pipes there, 3 to 500. 19th century brass, copper and bronze trumpet by George Smith. Let's have a look at that. George Smith, maker, 144 Snow Hill, Birmingham, in fitted wooden box, 3 to 500. Nice kind of decoration on that. That's quite an interesting instrument. A good lot of photos here. Okay. Let's see. Kung tenor recorder, Renaissance flute by Graham Lyndon Jones and Barbara Stanley. Renaissance style tambourines de Bern. I think Barbara Stanley was quite a well-known maker of woodwind instruments, maybe bassoons as well. A flauto dolce Moek Renaissance Baroque recorder. 2 rosewood galoubets. A fair treble recorder. A 2-section Kung soprano recorder. Vintage tabor pipe. Kantele by Carlo Bergman, Finland. Fitted with 5 wire strings. 20 to 30 on that. And there's a bottle of wine again. a Carl Dolmetsch factory recorder, an Eric Mulder Rausch Pfeiffer, or Fife even, Rosewood Dolmetsch decant recorder. I think I met Eric Mulder not too long ago at the early music show in Blackheath. A military two-piece Guards model flute. Let's have a look at that. Initials JWSL. I do like the way that they keep on having this wine all the time. It's quite interesting. Turkish saz, a lyre harp. Moek Tuju model bass recorder. A Spanish gaita galega bagpipes. That's interesting. With the child's gaiter. Yeah, that's quite cool. Quite like that. Good pictures for this auction, I have to say. There's a box of it as well. Okay. Yeah, it's quite an interesting item. I quite like that. Nice and colourful. Good case quality Hans Kulsma alto recorder. A cased IW Oberländer alto recorder by Richard Palm of the USA. Two-piece Hopf soprano recorder. Fine case Denner alto recorder by Friedrich von Huhn. John Kusen Renaissance widebore transverse flute. And Alexander Heinrich block flute recorder. Let's have a look at that. I am definitely out of my depth with this auction because this kind of stuff is something I'm not very knowledgeable about. 20th century Ferulia with pewter decoration, which I presume is another Yugoslavian instrument of some kind. Say kind of wind instruments I'm not particularly knowledgeable about. A Saw Duang 2-string Thai fiddle with bow. Okay, that's interesting. We don't see these many. With stretched snakeskin. Comes with matching bow and a bottle of wine, maybe. Interesting. A Kung Meister Stuck descant recorder. 2 Indian Pungi snake charmer instruments. Interesting. 2-piece Kung soprano superior recorder. A leather cased hunting horn by J. Schomburg and Sons, London. Let's have a look at that. It's quite nice. 50 to 80. It is amazing what you do find in some of these auctions. Late 18th century flute made by Prosper. Okay. Collection of 4 various sized bamboo panpipes. An assortment of 7 musette bags and 3 bellows. These I think will be popular as well. 2 to 300. It's quite a nice collection there. 19th century boxwood and ebony clarinet, 80 to 120. Fairly interesting. 2 professional panpipes there. An Alexander Heinrich tenor recorder, an African Adungo harp. I think we can go on to the next page now. Graham Lyndon Jones and Barbara Stanley tenor kirtle. Good quality Hans Kulsma alto recorder. A fine set of 3 Fitzpatrick Gemshorn folk recorders. Renaissance tenor flute by Graham Lyndon Jones and Barbara Stanley. A fine early 19th century Regency hammered dulcimer in flame mahogany case. It's interesting, we don't see these too often. Interesting painted panel there depicting a classical figural scene. There's the tuning key there. 4 to 600. It's quite a nice item. 2 early 20th century buffet clarinets, 60 to 80 there. 2 section Kung soprano recorder, John Kusen tabor pipe, tenor recorder with single key by Aura Conservatorium. 2-piece Aura recorder, a large medieval bass recorder by John Kusen. A late 19th century Chinese Sheng. These are such cool instruments, they sound like amazing Shengs. This is an interesting one, 19th century, 80 to 120. Quite a curious one. Actually, might just have a quick look at this large medieval recorder. Turned in maple. That's interesting. An early uh, Eric Mulder crumhorn. I don't see crumhorns that much. Three-piece Spanish Minerva military piccolo. Ebony resin cornetto by C.W. Monk. An early Eric Mulder Rausch Pfeiffer. Withdrawn. A John Hanchett Shawm. A rare 18th century French Chedeville Musette de Cour. Wow, okay, there's lots of these things here. Wow, let's have a look at some of the pictures here. Rare 18th century French Chedeville Musette de Cour, having an ivory drone with 6 ivory shuttles, turned ivory chanter with 6 silver keys, and auxiliary chanter flat shape with 8 silver keys, the original leather bellows with wooden silk embroidered covered end plates, inflating the original bag with matching embroidered silk, comes with an extra auxiliary chanter bought at Christie's, London around 1980. Okay. A Hopf 2-piece soprano recorder, Renaissance dulcimer with beta. A Hungarian cithara string instrument. A Saw-U Thai fiddle with bow. 19th century boxwood and ebony clarinet by Leonhardt. John Cousin tenor recorder. 2 Hopf Garclane and soprano sopranino Renaissance. Okay, that's interesting. A Renaissance soprano Shawm by Jules Jensen. A Carl Hansen flute. An early bass recorder by John Cousin. Set of 3 Overton pipes. A Flauto Dolce Moek Renaissance tenor recorder. Late 20th century silvered low whistle tubble pipe by Bernard Overton. A 19th century ministry flute by Townsend, Manchester. That's another kind of interesting one. Set of early 20th century Northumbrian pipes. Large bass kirtle by Eric Mulder. 4 to 600 there. Okay. Graduated set of 3 crumhorns by Eric Mulder. Nice set there. 100 to 200. Set of 3 Graham Linden Jones and Barbara Stanley Renaissance Shawms. A fine cased French flute by Claire Godefroy Paris. 4 to 600. A 20th century hardwood dulcimer by Peter Ecker, dated 1970. Okay. And Spanish Gaita Gal bagpipes there, another set. 150 to 250. And a case pair of buffet crampon clarinets there. 20th century Basque Chitsu. I have no idea what that is, but it looks interesting. A large C bass recorder by John Cousin. Mid 20th century Bulgarian Kaval. That's quite nice looking. An early 20th century Iberian flute. A Romanian Taragoto saxophone. Fine case flute by Ruddle Cart & Co. A John Cousin Renaissance flute in G. And on to some more things. A case rosewood Class A flute by T.E. Page, London. James Boehringer Organa Britannica in 3 volumes. 2 3-hole tabor pipes. Vintage rosewood Besson clarinet. A 20th century silver metal Bowen flute. Vintage rosewood clarinet. A German maple Scheitholt. A collection of 4 Aulos recorders. Mid 20th century Baroque Shawm. An early 20th century Hawks and Son London Excelsior sonorous class hardwood bassoon. Okay, let's have a look at that. Good to see a bassoon. Going to the large pictures there. Pretty good pictures on this auction, to be fair, so we can't complain about that. An early Middle Eastern lyra. Okay, that's curious. 50 to 80. Let's have a look on that. It's quite cool. And 3 tabor pipes. Mid-20th century silvered brass and bright cut mounted case trombone. A Norwegian pine langelake. A set of Kaba Gaida Bulgarian bagpipes. It's interesting. A medieval style tambourines de Bern and Beta. Collection of 3 Swedish birch trumpets. A Ukrainian mahogany and pine tambul zither stringed instrument. Okay. Medieval style fiddle by Bernard Ellis. A Jerome Thibouville Lamy ebony clarinet. 20th century Turkish zurna. A set of Italian zampogna double chanted bagpipes. An early Ngoni South African harp guitar. 20th century Hungarian shawm. A mid-20th century sopila from KRK Yugoslavia. Bulgarian maple wood guzla and bow. A large Slovakian fajara flute. Okay, it's interesting. Let's have a look at a bit of a bigger picture. That's quite nice. A nice decoration on that. Let's see what else we've got. 3 shawms of various designs. A Chinese shawm. It's interesting. A Moeck soprano Renaissance style recorder together with a copper wired pipe and a hardwood bagpipe practice chanter. Vintage Colin Ross mahogany chanter. Set of Scottish bagpipes by Clint Sinclair Leith. Collection of 3 hornpipes. Baroque style shalmo. An Indian ceremonial Shahai shawm. Vintage double reed Cypriot shawm. 19th century Croatian Ligierka with bow. Okay. They definitely picked up a few things over their travels. Vintage traditional Romanian caval, a vintage ebony Martin Dardat clarinet, 20th century Veltklang brass and silvered French horn, a set of Mizoud Tunisian bagpipes. These are nice, very colourful. A bamboo tapering wood trumpet, 20th century Turkish zurna, interesting expandable reed chanter, mid-20th century mounted rosewood clarinet and B, a French epaulet de Vosges, so we've seen these a few times, 50 to 80 on that, a Tibetan Gaeling ritual trumpet, a Thai Klui bamboo flute. Looks nice. Then I think we're on to the final page. 2 complete Sardinian bamboo launedas, medieval style string carved wood harp and stool. Set of 12 handbells signed Warner, London. Vintage snakeskin tambourine together with a bark drum. Interesting. And let's see, collection of 5 drums, a Benu Koz French bagpipes, definitely pronouncing all of that quite wrong, 150 to 250. An Appalachian dulcimer by Homer C. Ledford. Oh, interesting. This is the same Homer C. Ledford that I think has a book about kind of making dulcimers, so that's kind of interesting. You can buy that book I think online, so it's quite interesting. If you're a collector of dulcimers, then you might well want a Ledford dulcimer 100 to 150, so that's interesting. Early 20th century tabor pipe stamped M. Fabre and Barjols, and then a late 19th century slender rosewood oboe. And I think that's basically it, so that's the end of it. As I said, really out of my depth on this, severely. I know a few things, recognise a few things, but a lot of it I have no idea. Really interesting if you're interested in early music, wind instruments, etc. Very, very cool kind of collection of stuff here. I'm sure there are people out there that know way more about this than I do, so please feel free to educate me in the comment section if you want to tell me what I mispronounced or what I missed or what I got wrong. So yeah, there we go, very interesting auction here, a bit different to the usual. I'll put a link in the description as always, check it out, see what you think, so it's not finishing until the 10th of March. And as always, thanks a lot for watching and take care. Bye. Many thanks for tuning in to the Musical Instrument Investigator. I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, then please like, subscribe and turn on notifications, and watch out for the next video coming soon.